Dear cadets, today our topic is about direct object and indirect object. So, what is direct object and what is indirect object? There is a kind of verb which we will call transitive verb. So, transitive verb. Transitive verb are those which needs an object. What is transitive verb? A verb which is in need of object is called transitive verb. For example, we say that a verb will need object for its explanation. First of all, let me tell what is subject. You know, subject is a doer, subject is an actor, something which performs some action, that is subject. So, subject is the top of a sentence. Subject is the top of a sentence. What is an object on which the action is being performed? On which the action is being performed. So that is object. And what is verb? The work done, the action. The action which is taken by the subject upon the object is called verb. Is called verb. So there is a kind of verb which we will call transitive verb. Transitive verb needs an object. It contains two kinds. One is called monotransitive. So monotransitive. Another is called ditransitive. So ditransitive. Monotransitive is a verb which needs a single object. For example, I say, I perform my duty. So I perform my duty. My duty, you know, that is an object and that is a single object. Be in mind, when there is a single object in a sentence, that single object will be a direct one. When there is just a single object in a sentence, that single object will be a direct one. But when there are two objects in a sentence and the verb is ditransitive, in case of a ditransitive verb which needs two objects, for example, he gave me an apple. So here just see me and an apple. Here we have two objects. So gave is a verb which has the quality of ditransitive, because ditransitive will always needs two objects. One object is me, another is an apple. Another is an apple. How we can detect, how we can differentiate between direct object and indirect object? That is the major question. That is the major question. How can we differentiate between direct object and indirect object? So first, number one, direct object. Indirect object will precede the direct object. Indirect object will precede the direct object. So it will precede. Precede means coming first. Or we can say indirect object will come first and direct object will come later. That is first condition. Second condition is indirect object will be in the form of recipient. Number second law, that is indirect object will be in the form of recipient. So something which is given within this sentence, that will be received by indirect object. For example, the apple is given by him and that is received by me. That is received by me. So indirect object is an object which receives something, which is in the form of recipient. Which is in the form of recipient. You know, action is taken by the subject. Action is taken upon the subject, and action by himself, that is verb. So the action of giving apple, that is received by indirect object. So indirect object will be in the form of recipient. It will be in the form of recipient. And next thing is number third, that direct object, indirect object will come first and direct object will come later on. Indirect object will come first and direct object will come later on. If we are going to change its order, if we are going to change its order, for example, direct object is coming first and indirect object is coming later on, we will need two. We will need two. For example, he gave an apple to me. He gave an apple to me. So two you will insert before indirect object. Thus you can detect which one is direct one and which one is indirect one. So I have discussed three rules. Indirect object will come first, direct object will come later on. Number one. Number two, indirect object will be in the form of recipient. And number third, if we are going to change its order, for example, we are placing direct object first and indirect object later on. What will we do? We will insert two. We will insert two. So, thus we can detect within sentence which one is direct object and which one is indirect object. So, one point another, when we are going to change this sentence into passive voice, because the sentence of transitive can be changed into passive voice, first condition is that, and when a sentence contains two objects, which object will be in the place of subject? So be in mind, direct object will come at the place of subject. So this sentence will be changed, an apple was given to me by him. Was given to me by him. Because we are changing its order, pick the point. I have told you that when we are going to change its position, we will insert two. Now, me is in place of direct object, so we are inserting two as well. So, an apple was given by him to me, or to me by him. To me by him, both are correct. Understood?
Yes, sir.
So, that is all about direct object and indirect object.